Hey guys, my name is Becky Farron, and this month's promo in December is if you spend 200 PV, you get a free bottle of frankincense. And I just thought it was super appropriate for me to tell you my frankincense story because some of you haven't heard it. So my story actually goes back about 8 years ago with my daughter. So she had chronic ear infections and respiratory issues when she was a baby, and being an ignorant mom who was just unaware truly of the harm that antibiotics do to your gut health, I ended up having her on 9 rounds of antibiotics by the time she was 15 months old. And so you are probably gasping on the other side of the screen because you know what happened to her. She obviously had a resistance to antibiotics, as well as we completely shot her immunity. And so it was a long process to get her healthy. And in the midst of this process, at about age 3.5, it was allergy season. She's got really bad allergies, and we had come a long way, but allergies still kind of knocked her out. And she, at 3.5, they don't know how to use Kleenexes very good. And so my guess is she was doing a lot of, that kind of thing, rubbing her nose. And the only thing I can think of is her little fingernail got caught in between her nose and her cheek, and she cut herself. It was a small paper cut. I remember, cleaning it up, and we didn't put a Band-Aid on it or anything. And about 2 weeks later, it had this bulbous growth off the side of her nose. So I had no idea what it was. I ended up taking her to a holistic doctor. He didn't know what it was. I went back to my primary care physician. He didn't know what it was. So I was referred to a dermatologist who specializes in plastic surgery. And they disagreed as far as what the diagnosis was, but either way, they agreed that it needed surgery and that there was no amount of cream or medicine that would take it away. So again, trusting, all that to a doctor like I normally did, we went to the hospital. She was put under, had that removed, which obviously is pretty traumatic for a 3.5-year-old. And so basically 2 weeks later, it was back and it was double the size. So as you can imagine, I'm freaking out. She's starting to get super self-conscious at this point because now it was really starting to bother her every time she would nick it. She was walking with her hair in front of her face because in addition to not being able to use Kleenex at 3.5, they also don't have a filter on their mouth. So people were like, "You've got a booger on your nose," and kind of making fun of her, and she was starting to get really self-conscious. I had just spent $2,200 out of pocket for the surgery that didn't work. I went back to that doctor and they said, "We're gonna have to do the surgery again, and we're gonna have to cut deeper, and there's gonna leave a gaping hole right there." And that was just not something that I was willing to accept. So I made a 4th appointment with a specialist, and in between these appointments, she was going to art at the time, and her art teacher had said, "Have you ever tried essential oils?" I had never even heard that word in my life. And I literally said to her, "I have no idea what those are, but if someone told me to put bleach on her face right now and it would work, I would do it." I was just a desperate mama wanting to try and help her daughter. So she's like, "Well, let's not resort to that." And so she gave me a little vial of frankincense. And she said, "I want you to put it on neat," which means no carrier oil, 3 times a day right on that spot. So I was hopeful because it was the first thing that somebody had said that might work besides surgery. So we diligently did this morning, noon, and night. And within 2 days, I could see something was happening. I wasn't sure if it was good or not, but something was happening. And every morning, Kayla would rush to the mirror first thing in the morning and say, "Mommy, Mommy, look at my nose." And we literally just watched this growth disappear before our very eyes. So as you can see in the pictures, after 2 weeks and after 3 weeks, it was virtually gone. And now my daughter, 4.5 years later, if you look at her cute little nose, the only thing she has right there is the scar from surgery. And so I called up her art teacher and literally said, "What are these crazy witch oils? I want them all." And that started me on my essential oil journey. And so frankincense obviously has a huge place in my heart. It is called the king of oils. We say in doTERRA, when in doubt, pull your frankincense out. If something else isn't working, oftentimes the power of frankincense is going to work. And also, if you layer it with anything else, so if you have a sore throat and you put lemon on your throat and then you put frankincense on top, it's going to magnify the properties of lemon. So frankincense, while it is a pricier oil because of how it's sourced, it is amazing and it's awesome for you to have in your home. And so I hope you take advantage of this amazing opportunity because it only comes once a year, where if you spend a 200 PV order, you get a free bottle of frankincense, and it's $69.75 wholesale. So that is an amazing deal. So anyways, I just wanted to share my story with you in hopes to encourage you. And just because I'm so excited about this journey and how this little bottle of frankincense changed the course of me taking care of my family's health.